hopping back on here to talk about something else that's very important that will help a lot of us adults to safeguard our children within the community, because this spiritual warfare is very heavy and Satan is really targeting our children the most, even in children's books. And this is coming from a parent who enjoys reading children's books with my son, but because of an experience that we've had a few months ago from receiving a book that looked harmless from the food pantry at the time, it just really just helped me to see the importance of protecting children at all costs. Is see the way the devil worked. He moved real quiet and real subtle with our children. And so I mean, it's unfortunate that a lot of us parents have to be very cautious with what our children is being exposed to. And the number one way that we do that is to research the content ourselves first before we allow our children to be exposed to certain content, including children's books. And also supervise what our children are being exposed to, because sometimes we're not going to be present, realistically speaking, because it's understandable that a lot of us parents are full-time working parents outside the home. Also, some of us parents, we put in overtime, especially with how the economy is looking nowadays, where the cost of living is extremely high with bills, food, just our basic necessities. It's becoming much more difficult to maintain those things, especially if some of us parents have large families. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive deep into this topic of discussion about how we as a community can safeguard our children when it comes down to children's books. So, first things first, I'll show you guys how the book looks, which the book that me and my son received from the food pantry from a very nice lady is titled The Family Book, which is ironic because going based on what we saw in the book on one of these pages, the ideology of what we saw on one of these pages in this book, it actually worked against the family structure. So it's ironic that the title of the book is called The Family Book. And so this is how it looks. I will hide the name of the author just out of respect for the author, because I still do believe in having respect for boundaries and privacy. So if any of y'all would like to know the name of the author of this book, the title of the book is The Family Book. Exactly how it's spelled, The Family Book. And I'll even show you guys the title of the book, so that any parent on here that may be curious to what's in this book and who's the author of this book, y'all can Google it, pull it up on the internet so that y'all can find out who the author is. And not to mention, it said that he is the New York Times best-selling author. So keep that in mind. So this is what the title of the book is, y'all, and this is how it looks. I'm covering up the author's name, though. The family book. Hopefully y'all can see that clearly. And so, let me see. They normally have the age range on the book. Let me see. I didn't see it, but it looked like the book is for elementary school kids. Because I highly doubted that this book is for kids in like, well, you know what? Because 3rd grade and 4th grade is elementary school. I'll say this book look like it's made for children that's in like kindergarten and 1st grade. I doubted that it's for kids in 3rd and 4th grade. So, you know, just going based off of the pictures and you know, sentences. The sentences and the pictures are definitely made for children who are beginners in reading. And that's normally in kindergarten and 1st grade. So, but anyway, so now when me and my son first came across the book, which it was offered to us, that's the thing, because we only went to the food pantry to receive some assistance at the time with a little bit of food that we needed, right? So I wasn't coming there for like books and anything extra. It was just whatever that we needed for food at the time until our food stamps came back on, with how high food has been. And this was a few months ago. Now, have I been to the food pantry since? No, I haven't. I've actually been working towards budgeting more so that I can make my food stamps stretch. So, because for a lot of obvious reasons, but that's besides the point. So we haven't been back since we got this book a couple of months ago. And as I was reading this book to my son, as a bedtime story, it seemed harmless. It seemed really harmless. It wasn't until when we came across this particular page, and mind you, I had to catch myself. I had to catch myself because I didn't want what I was about to read according to the page to stick to my son's subconscious mind, because that's where our memory is, which is something that I recently learned as an adult. That makes sense, right? So this is how the page looks. This is the page that I'm talking about specifically. I hope that y'all can see that clearly. So at the top you see 2 women, and at the bottom you see 2 men. And so the sentence says some families have 2 moms or 2 dads. And so I had to catch myself, y'all. And when I caught myself and I just read the sentence in my head so that my son wouldn't actually hear me repeat the sentence or reiterate it, I just thought to myself like, oh, okay, something's not right. This is not okay. Just by my son looking at the pictures, he could tell that something was off, and he's 6 years old, and so he didn't feel comfortable reading the book any further. I didn't feel comfortable either because of what's being promoted. And so I just say this to say that this is the reason why it's so very important for a lot of us parents to be careful with what we allow our children to be exposed to, even in children's books, because as you can see, this author, and I'm sure many other authors in society, are grooming our children the same way that some of these TV shows on Nickelodeon and on Disney Channel are grooming our children on a subconscious level, because these people understand that our children are at the ages where their brains are not developed enough to be able to read between the lines, to be able to pick up on the subliminal messages that they put into a lot of content that's supposed to be for children. But the thing is, a lot of our children are around elementary school ages, they're not going to easily pick up on a lot of subliminal messages that are actually grooming them to over time begin to accept things that are actually inappropriate for children. Because that particular page, it is actually promoting it is definitely promoting the LGBTQ community. It's definitely promoting that. And so the fact that this author titled the book The Family Book, and then for him to put in the book a ideology that is not realistic, actually, and that actually works against the family structure. Why? Because let me explain how. Because two women cannot reproduce, two men cannot reproduce. We know that. We know that. Even people a part of the LGBTQ community know that. We know that. Biologically speaking, two women cannot naturally create a family. Biologically speaking, two men cannot naturally create a family. Men's bodies are not even made to carry children. You know that. Women's bodies are made to carry children. But where do children come from? They come from men. Men carry both sexes. So it's like either way, men and women, if they don't come together, then no families will be created. And so it's content like this in children's books that are actually a threat to the human race. And see, our children will not be able to pick up on that. And that's because their brains are not developed enough to understand that their brains are not even developed enough to understand where babies come from, where they came from. So the fact that this author thought that it was okay to put something like that in a children's book is actually very inappropriate, and I don't think it's okay to sabotage children's subconscious mind for book sales. That's absolutely inappropriate, and that's actually exploiting our children. I'm just calling it for what it is. That's hijacking our children's subconscious mind while also slowly introducing something that is very inappropriate to our children. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to tell the author what to write. It's not my place. But at the same time, though, when it comes down to our children, they are off limits. Off limits. Now, If this author supports the LGBTQ community, which I don't doubt that he does because of what he just put in this children's book, hey, that's his business. And if he works closely with that community and he highly supports that community, if he's a part of that community, that's his business. Because I respect all human beings, and I would still even respect him as a human being, because at the end of the day, we all deserve to have a certain level of respect as people. But at the same time, I will speak against something that's considered to be inappropriate when it comes down to children. And so in this particular case, this book is not appropriate for children because of what it's promoting. It's not okay. Children are off limits. It doesn't even matter if an adult is heterosexual. At the end of the day, what a grown-up chooses to do in their private lives with another adult, that should not be exposed to children, period. Whether you are heterosexual, whether you are homosexual, whatever. At the end of the day, that should be kept private. It should not be exposed to children at all. Children are off limits. They're pure and they're innocent. And we as adults, we have to do the right thing. That's what I stand by firmly. Doing the right thing, regardless of how you choose to identify yourself in that aspect of life. We have to definitely come to a mutual agreement of doing the right thing with these kids. Children are off limits. Off limits. And I don't think it's okay to put content out like this for children to be exposed to. And sabotaging their subconscious mind. It's also sabotaging their future of creating a family. Because truth be told, the natural way to create a family is through a man and a woman. That's something that, of course, when children reach an appropriate age, as teenagers need to know. But see, that's the thing. It's content like this, they start off real early. See, society starts real early with our children. And this is another level of grooming our children into something that's not real. It's dishonest. It's dishonest and it's inappropriate. So it's clear. It's clear that the devil, he does not care about sabotaging the human race at all. Because he's the biggest sabotager. He worked through people that's under his influence. And I just think about how can you as an author sleep at night knowing that you are not only taken from parents who work hard for their tax dollars, their hard-earned money, from making an honest living, but you are also hijacking their children's subconscious mind with information that's inappropriate, that children should not be exposed to. How can you sleep at night knowing that? This is sick. It's very sick. And I'm going to continue to speak out against anything that is just not appropriate for children to be exposed to. It's just that simple. Children are off limits. And so I just say this to say that us as a community, we have to do what we can to protect our children from a lot of the mind games that Satan plays on our children through a lot of very spiritually dysfunctional adults out here, because that's exactly what it is. It's a lot of adults out here, they are spiritually sick. Very. And so we as parents, we have to be vigilant out here, cautious out here for our children. They deserve to have a better future, and they deserve to grow up into functioning, healthy, and productive young adults, and to be set up to create families of their own in a healthy, functioning, and productive environment. And that's exactly what this book does not promote. It does not promote that at all. This was written by an adult that is spiritually dysfunctional, spiritually unhealthy. And there's nothing productive about what this author placed in this book that's supposed to be for children. This book is not for children at all. It's not. When you're promoting things that's not appropriate for children to be exposed to, it's no longer a children's book. So there, I said it. Please, y'all stay safe out here and be blessed. Please protect your peace of mind. And as always, may we do what we can to safeguard children on every level. It matters.